Sean McDowell here. I'm here with my father, Josh McDowell. I'm a teacher at Biola University, but you can probably imagine growing up in a home with Josh McDowell as my dad that I learned apologetics growing up, and that is certainly true. My parents were very intentional, whether over the dinner table or sending me to places like Summit to help teach me in the value of apologetics so I could defend my faith. But interestingly enough, a lot of people don't know, when I was about 19 or 20 years old in college, I started having some serious questions and doubts about what I believed. I guess really ask myself the question that a lot of young people typically ask: do I really believe this? What if I was raised in a different home? Am I just living off my parents' convictions, or am I believing what's really true? And I really, at times, kind of felt the pain of this. I remember sitting in bed just going, man, if I don't believe this, this changes everything. And I felt like it was time to talk to my dad and just let him know where I was at. And we were in Breckenridge in Colorado, and I remember we went out for coffee, and I turned to you and I said, Dad, I want to know what's true, but I'm not sure that I believe Christianity's really true. Now, there's a lot of parents and teachers and youth pastors raising their kids in the faith that would react very differently to this, and I didn't know what my dad was going to say. And I remember he looked me right back in the eyes, didn't miss a beat, and he goes, son, I think that's great. And my first thought was, did you hear anything that I just said? Like, are you listening? And you said to me, I heard exactly what you said. And then a couple things stood out. You said, number one, I'm confident if you seek truth, you'll find it, because Jesus is the truth. And you really encouraged me to own my own faith, to question things, but with the desire of knowing truth, not questioning for the sake of questioning. A lot of kids will grow up in Christian homes and just reject the faith just because they want to rebel. You encouraged me to really seek after truth. Of course, you told me that your mom and you would love me no matter what, and that to really seek after truth with everything. Now, I'm curious what you were thinking, honestly, not that you wouldn't be honest, but what was really going through your mind when I said that?
It didn't come as a big surprise, because when my kids were little, I always raised them with trying to anticipate things. And I anticipated when my kids come to me and they say, well, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if I want to be a Christian dad. How would I respond? So I was all ready for it. And I remember the first time I got so enthusiastic, I said, well, that's wonderful. That's great. And Sean just looked so crazy at me.
I did.
And he said, how can you say that? I said, son, here, you've got to own your own faith. You can't run on my faith. It's got to be your faith. I raised you that way. And then I said two things. One, seek the truth. I said, Sean, if you sincerely seek the truth, you will find it. What more could a father want? Now, come on, than for your kids to seek truth and find it. But then I think one of the most important things I said, and I'd rehearsed it, is, son, don't reject something because it's the faith of your parents. Reject it because it's not true. And I put everything back on his shoulders to be intellectually honest and to pursue truth. Because if I'd have tried to defend the scripture to you and everything else, it would have backfired completely.
And you know, honestly, what it was is you've written a book, Evidence Demands a Verdict. And interestingly enough, Dr. Craig had mentioned that this is one of the most important books in his journey early on defending his faith. But for some reason, at that stage of my life, I needed other voices to say a lot of the same things and answer some different questions. As I look back, not only were there mentors in my life that cared for me personally, but I would say the work of J.P. Moreland and Dr. Craig, their arguments for the existence of God, the resurrection, were compelling and helped me intellectually wrestle with the faith. So I personally want to thank you, Dr. Craig. It's an honor to consider you a colleague at Biola, but know that your ministry resonates even further than you probably grasped through me and a lot of the young people that I work with. So you get a lot of criticism online from people that attack you, but I thank God for your courage, thank God for your commitment, and this is one small way. We just want to say that we love you, we're behind Reasonable Faith, and keep it up.
And to see what I think of you, I often say, there's two men in the world I would never, ever want to debate, and that's Ravi Zacharias and William Lane Craig. I thank God for you. And it's so encouraging when people come up all the time and say, do you know William Lane Craig? And I name drop. I said, I sure do. He's a friend of mine. But they share how your works, your website and all, so turn their lives around. It's wonderful to be in the field of apologetics with someone like you. Keep it up.